live.
Hello, folks. It's the Podsquad with Colleen Roberts, Wendy Card, and yours truly, George Oliver. Thanks for joining us for New Bern Now's podcast for October 29th, 2020, episode 163.
As usual, we are connecting you with the people, places, and the happenings around New Bern and beyond. We want you to join in on the conversation, so please join us on social media. We'll talk about some other ways that you can contact us, but first, we always start off New Bern Now and the Pod Squad with a contest. But before we toss it over to Wendy Card, she's over there on my screen, to be entered to win, you have to comment during today's show with what you think is the right answer. So go to the New Bern Now Facebook page, not somewhere else, not somebody else who has shared this Facebook Live, but on the New Bern Now Facebook page to be entered to win this contest. Hit it, Wendy Card. What's the contest?
All right, the question: where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II? Don't answer this, George. You probably learned this in law school.
Got to be a trick question, right?
What's that?
It's got to be a trick question. So
You're trying to trick me into saying the answer.
I don't know the answer. Let me say that. So any guess I'm making probably has very little to do with the actual answer, but I wonder if it's in the United States. Maybe the trick is it's not in the United States, right, Colleen? What do you think?
That's what I was thinking, that maybe it was a trick question because it wasn't in the US, but.
Right.
I'm not looking.
Blah, 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 blah.
La 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 la.
Yeah. Earmuffs.
I guess maybe,
All right.
Is there a hint behind
stuff?
you, Wendy, in your artwork you chose?
No, actually,
You got what's that building?
That's the steeple, the Christ Church steeple.
It's Christchurch.
Christchurch?
Right
And
back there.
the bear.
So was it hidden in Christchurch?
You never know.
Is that your final answer?
So you have
really,
the whole show
really
to
don't.
contemplate.
I don't know.
So
You have
Yeah.
plenty of opportunities to think about it, phone a friend, Google. I'm just saying.
Colleen,
Oh.
I'm trying to start a watch party, and I never do that right. And
Oh, goodness. Okay.
go to.
Oh,
All right, so we're going to give you guys out there a tutorial on how to do a watch party. This is our PSA for today. First thing you do is you go to newbernnow.com's Facebook page. And then I was going to do like a share.
yes. That's
And
what I do.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. And then it usually gives me the opportunity to say watch party, but it doesn't say that. And I go to more options and it still doesn't say watch party.
So mine is share to newsfeed, and then there's a drop down on that, but it still, it doesn't say watch party.
Maybe there was an update to Facebook I wasn't aware of. So I did share. We'll just see what happens.
All right. We'll see what happens.
This way, if anybody answers, I can send it to your Facebook page in case they want to guess Christchurch for where those important documents were.
well, or you could just tell me and that will count too. So
yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, just email me or text me whoever the winner is. So, or whoever guessed the answer.
All right.
And so
Okay.
what's
George
going on, guys?
George can't think straight because he has salsa on the brain, right? Queso and tortilla chips.
We ordered Arturo's, which is my favorite restaurant at New Bern, one of the favorite restaurants in New Bern, for the office. And I didn't quite get finished before 1 o'clock. And so if you see me come over here, then I may be eating a little bit. Or if you hear like a kind of a crunch, it's all okay.
I feel like I can smell it. Mexican is so good.
Oh,
Mexican food.
So good in our one of our favorite places.
Yes, yes. So, how is everybody? Wendy, how are you doing?
I'm good, but I'm glad to see you're finally back. We've been thinking about you, and do you want to let people know where you've been?
I appreciate the outreach. Wendy has been texting me to see how things are going. We weren't ready to, share with the world just yet, but we found out that our puppy has terminal cancer, and we had no idea. We found out rather abruptly and had to rush her to the NC State Emergency Vet Hospital in Raleigh. This was Columbus Day weekend, and she was very bloated, and it turned out she had between 6 and 8 pounds of blood in her abdomen. And the first ultrasound showed that she had a cancerous mass on her spleen, and it had ruptured. So she went into emergency surgery on Friday night. She was not expected to survive, but she did. When they opened her up to remove the spleen and the tumor, they called us immediately on the phone and said that unfortunately the cancer had spread pretty significantly already to her liver. So she only has between 1 month and probably 4 months left with us. So we're trying to make that as happy as we possibly can. But it's a shock. Again, totally not expecting it. Just saw her bloated one day and knew something was not right. She seemed kind of lethargic, so things deteriorated from there. But I know that New Bern, if you are considering moving here or you live here, we have many, many spectacular veterinarians in this city. We happen to go to Animal Care Center, and I can't say enough about them. They were the ones who said, we have a feeling this is a tumor on the spleen and you should go to NC State now. And I cannot say enough about the NC State Emergency Veterinary Hospital. They are incredible. You can't go in right now because of COVID, but they are outstanding at keeping in touch with you about the status of your pet, the next step for your pet. So that's where we are. I asked Wendy if I could share a couple of photos of her. So you let me know if you can see them.
Yes.
Sure. So this is probably in the spring sometime of the year. So that was earlier in 2020. She was chilling in our backyard. This is the morning after her surgery. When the surgeon called me, he said, "You have a very strong, brave dog." He said, when I went to visit her in her room this morning, not only was she awake, but she was standing up and she had ripped out all of her guide wires. She was in ICU for 4 days. And this is when we picked her up on Columbus Day. On that Monday, she was high on painkillers, but we got her back with a cone of shame. She had to wear for several days, but she's home with us now, and we just count our blessings that we're able to spend a little more time with her. So I did share that with Wendy, and I just appreciate your friendship and your support. It's a very tough thing to go through, whether it's with humans or animals. October's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know a lot of people have lived through the same dilemma that we have, both with family and with animals. So it's a tough time, but increase awareness, a time for other people to learn from this situation. So
yes, definitely. And she is just beautiful. So I'm glad she's doing better. I was very concerned, not that I'm not concerned now, but yeah, you guys driving up to NC State, I'm like, wow, that's a haul, during an emergency. So I can't imagine how you were feeling.
Yeah, it was. And one more thing, and I promise we can move on. I have a very, very wonderful boss who I spoke to about the situation, and he is allowing me to work from home a little more often to spend some time with her during her remaining days. So thank you so much to the city manager, Mark Stevens, for allowing me to have some of that time. It's really important, family and and friends and pets and furry children tend to take a pretty big priority in our lives, as they should. So I really appreciate that support.
What's her name, Colleen?
Her name is Clipper. And do you know who Clipper, the German Shepherd, was?
No.
Clipper was one of the German Shepherds that protected President John F. Kennedy.
Wow.
Very
And
cool.
I am a big JFK conspiracy freak. So we named our dog Clipper. So
She's gorgeous.
she's very, very sweet. So I haven't seen you guys in forever, so I feel like I need to catch up with you too. I saw last week when Alderwoman Jamisha Harris was on. So it looked like you guys have really had some good times and some fun and some valuable information that you've been sharing about New Bern.
Yeah, we're learning every podcast, we're learning so much more about the different things happening in our community. So it's fun,
Very fun.
Very good people in our town. So that's what makes it so special.
George has been taking pictures of some wonderful sunrises in the morning.
That one actually was Mason's. Mason went across the street and took it this morning. So I shared it because he's not on social media. And Dare just told us that WCTI picked it up, which is kind of fun. So yeah, he did it. It's a really pretty picture right out there. The sunrises are so pretty this time of year. And it's just really a treat to be able to see what they look like each day. Very cool.
And I think we're all looking forward to falling back this weekend, set the clock back, get an extra hour of sleep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And that's on Sunday, right? Sunday,
yes.
2 a.m.
Yes. And, the fire department always says, change your clocks, change your batteries. So check your batteries and your smoke detectors. I was having a conversation with them the other day and was telling them about a faulty smoke detector at our house. So they were like, now's the time, next weekend, check your clock, check your battery. So we certainly need to get those tested and replaced where necessary. So don't forget to bring the clocks back. George, other than spectacular sunrises, how is Banjoy going?
Banjoy's good. I'm
near.
The other day putting a little tune up, and I got some more books to help me learn some more tunes because I think I've done about 100 so far. Every other day.
Mastered 100.
Yeah. It's really been fun just learning more music and committing to doing that. So that's been really cool. And I got a chance to play at Mumfeast this past weekend with a group that Danny Batten is in. It's Danny and Cindy Polo and Doug DeSantis and Van Rice and Andy. Can't remember Andy's last name. He's the Franklin, I think, the bass player. But they call it Neuse River Ramblers, and we played at Mumfest Saturday night, and they're playing again this coming Saturday night. I am not playing this Saturday night because it is Halloween, and I have a 13-year-old son who still wants to trick or treat with his dad. So I am there, and we'll be dressed up. He's dressing up like a character from one of his favorite video games, and I'll be dressing up like one of the vampires from What We Do in the Shadows, and/or The Relentless. So that if you see us walking around, it'll be an interesting group because we're not from the same world, but we'll be having fun together.
That's awesome.
But speaking of trick-or-treating, so Hydra has put together a map of houses that have committed to having treats for trick-or-treaters. And they're doing it in special ways. They might have shoots for the candy or some tables set up. But if you talk to Val Rulin Schwartz, she has put that together for Hydra and just sent it out today. So it's a map showing you of the historic area where the houses are. And so for people wanting to trick or treat, that's one way to do it. I know that the downtown businesses are also going to be doing that Saturday morning from 9 to 11. And so if you go to your downtown merchants in costume, they'll have things for people, and everybody's being careful. I think in particular this Halloween for social distancing and also maybe less touch involved or in giving the candy. So it'll be interesting to see how people accomplish those challenges. We always have a Halloween party and like 200 people come to. So we're not doing that this year. Everything is different, but it'd be interesting to see how people still celebrate the season.
My mom has decided to come visit for the holiday weekend from Wilmington. She lives in a neighborhood where she doesn't get very many trick-or-treaters, and we get a lot in our neighborhood. Of course, we'll have to see how COVID impacts everything, but she decided she's going to dress up as Bob Ross.
Oh, perfect.
Bob Ross.
The painter with the pretty little.
Oh yeah, with the hair. Yeah,
yes. And she found the most wonderful wig and a little beard, and she has the artist's palette, and the paintbrush, and so she always dresses up every year, and so I can't wait for the trick-or-treaters to see Bob Ross when they ring our doorbell this weekend.
Well, that's fun.
What area of town that you get a lot of?
We live in Trent Woods.
Okay. Yes, we'll see how it is downtown, and then maybe we'll get in the car.
Yeah.
And we have Kelly in the waiting room here.
All
Kelly
right. One of our
Millington.
guests on the podcast today is Kelly Millington, the Director of Financial Development at Twin Rivers YMCA. She's getting signed in as we speak. I'm sorry.
No,
I
it's
don't
okay.
know Kelly, but I will pretty soon. There he is. Hey, how are you? To talk about the turkey trot, which it's so nice to see something familiar still on the calendar. In the midst of COVID, I feel like so many things are getting canceled. So anyway, welcome, Kelly. How are you today?
I'm well. Thanks for having me on the show. Appreciate it.
Surely. So the turkey trot is synonymous with Thanksgiving, of course. I can't believe we're already talking about Thanksgiving. October's almost over. So this is the 25th through the 28th. Tell us about this year's event.
Yeah, so like you said in your opening remarks, it's just great that we're going to be able to offer something that the community is used to. It's going to look a little different, like so many things in 2020, but this year's turkey trot will be virtual. It will still be a 5 and 10K event, as it always has been, but participants will have actually more time to participate, and hopefully a chance. Folks that would travel on Thanksgiving can take part because they can be anywhere in the world and be part of the turkey trot this year. They will have from November 25th through the 28th, so that Wednesday through the Saturday of Thanksgiving, to participate. And folks that register will receive an app that is called Race Joy that will track their distance and their time and upload it to the system. And then we'll have the results as if they were starting at our normal location in Taverna.
So Kelly, I'm not much of a runner, so I'll speak on behalf of the non-runners or in our world. And when I heard virtual turkey trot, I said, finally, a turkey trot for me. I can just sit and imagine trotting this. I might even do a 10 mile. I'll do a 10 mile. I'll do however long you'll do it. But that's not what you mean, is it? So people actually do run? They just run separate?
That's right, so this Race Joy app, George, will have you called out on that. So great thought, but no, that's not going to fly. We will have results, and what'll be different is just the route that folks choose to take for the 3.1 or 6.2 miles if they're doing the 10K version of the race.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, but good, nice try.
Yeah.
Finally, a marathon for me.
There you go.
Kelly, if people don't like to run, can they donate to this campaign?
Absolutely. Thank you, Wendy. The turkey trot proceeds go to our annual campaign that we have every year here with the Twin Rivers YMCA, and the proceeds for that allow us to provide financial assistance for individuals that need it to participate in YMCA programs. We have a process that individuals go through where they provide their tax returns, and then based on a sliding scale and financial need, we're able to help them become members or program participants of the Y. This year, we anticipate, as we get more folks coming back to the Y because everything that's going on and the job loss and things that are out there, that'll be at an all-time high. And plus for the Y, just to keep operationally going, we've never been in a situation where we've had a greater need for contributed support. So it's a really important year for us. But that's being a community event for the folks here in the area to participate in this race, a family-friendly event, but it also, those net proceeds go back for a good cause.
This
Kelly,
is one of the, go ahead, George.
Oh, no, I had a question more generally about the why. So,
Okay.
I know the Y is open to people.
Yes.
Is the basketball court available yet?
So you need to check the website because it's at different time frames. One of the things we've had to adjust with the facility is reacting to the needs of the school district and the community at large. And one of the things we're doing is we are offering sites for some of the distance learning that was happening before students went back to school. And even now, like on the Wednesdays, we're a site where folks are coming and utilizing our facility. So it's not the normal hours, George, that you would be used to for using the gym, but it is available in spots, and that's posted on our website. And it does adjust and change from time to time.
Okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate this.
Thanks for asking that question.
This is one of those events where you always see pictures of people with their bibs on, but they're dressed up in costumes and they bring their kids in strollers and run and all that. Are you encouraging folks to still get in the spirit and maybe like upload their photos? Or
Absolutely. And this site that we'll have allows for that to happen. You can even send a cheer or encouragement through this for participants. And that's a great segue because I've heard we have a guest in the Y today that is hopping around or whatever they do.
Gobble.
Yeah, but yeah.
hey, turkey, looking good.
You better start. You better start trotting. You got 30.
That's our turkey trot mascot that always makes an appearance. But yes, those types of fun things will still be part of it, and the families can dress up on our website to sign up for the event, which it's a rather long site. So I sent it to Wendy because it's rather long to say, and if somebody's trying to write it down, but it's to link up and be part of the race. It's through Halloween night. It is $33 for the 5K, and then it goes to $38 on November 1st and up till the race. And for the 10K, it's $38 and then goes to $43. And that includes the long sleeve t-shirt that's always really popular with the turkey on it. This year, it's a black shirt, looks really good. So really encourage folks that have an interest to get signed up and definitely take advantage of that early bird special for the next couple of days.
Early bird.
Got that.
I'm on your website now, Kelly. Pretty easy. You just go to ymca.org. It's right there about midway on the first page. So
that's the easiest way than me giving this link out. Exactly. And in fact, I tried a couple hours ago. I signed up for the 5K. So 100 and some pounds ago, I was a distance runner in high school and college. So I'm going to make my reappearance in a competitive race. I probably haven't done one for about 8-9 years. So we'll see how I do. But George, I liked your thought of the virtual, but yeah, I'm going to do it and see how it goes.
Right now in my mind.
Yeah, there you go. So, but it is a very easy process. Not the most computer tech savvy person. And I signed up in about 60 seconds.
And I'll add that link to this video afterwards so people can just click on it.
Excellent. Thank you, Wendy.
Yeah, no, thank you for everything that you're doing. We got the pool cover, the bubble up, and you got a lot going on at the Y. So
we do, yes. The bubble went up about a week ago, and so we're ready for that part of the winter aquatics where it's a little too cool to be out in the outdoor pool at times. And of course, in this part of the world, you never know. You could be December 6th and be fine with an outdoor pool. So, but yeah, we're really working it's a slow crawl back to where we want to be and need to be. It's been challenging, like everyone out there, that has had to modify and adjust. We've had some layoffs, we've had adjustments in pay, all those things that come with this, but we're still committed to being here and serving the community and making sure our YMCA stays strong here in New Bern.
I'm so glad that you have found a way to make it work. We've been talking about how COVID has forced us to learn how to operate in this type world. And it's just so nice to hear of nonprofits and small businesses and things like that who are finding a way to still preserve business, quality of life, all those wonderful things that make New Bern such a great place to be. So we love the why, and hope you will continue with your success. We're looking forward to a familiar event on the calendar this holiday season. So sign up for the Turkey Trot if you haven't already, and George and I will be cheering for you.
I will too.
Thank you. And you know, Colleen, one thing, if you've got a second, even when we were closed, one thing we're really proud of is we were able to work with the Red Cross, and our YMCA produced, through the generosity of blood donors, 600 units of blood. And there were all kinds of modifications we had to make to the facility to be able to do that safely, from temperature checks, from the spacing in the gym and all those things. But our YMCA led YMCAs all across the state of North Carolina in the number of blood drives and units of blood that were produced. And that's New Bern, that's against Charlotte, that's against Raleigh, all the other YMCAs that are out there. So thank you to our community for responding, because there was a critical time, the early stages of the virus, where the blood volume was very low in the supply. So just wanted to share that.
You all are fantastic. I am not surprised you beat out all those metropolitan places.
That's right.
And Kelly, what's the Y? Is it trymca.org?
That's correct.
Okay, so that's your website. And is there a phone number that people can call if they have questions?
Absolutely. I always have to look, because it's 252-638-8799. So 638-8799. You'd think I'd know that by now.
Fantastic. Well, Kelly Millington, thanks for joining us today, and good luck with the Turkey Trot.
Gobble, gobble. Thank you,
Kelly.
Woo!
And
virtually burn off some calories with the Turkey Trot this year.
Yeah, and Jim Davis is in the house, so I don't mean to cut you short. I'm not sure what his schedule is like with Carolina East.
Bring him on in.
Bring him on in. We really appreciate him joining us.
Jim Davis, the Chief Nursing Officer at Carolina East Medical Center. I'm sure he is quite busy.
There he is.
Jim. Hi, Jim.
Oh, Jim.
Oh, he's muted.
Oh, he's muted.
Nope.
Asked to unmute.
It's probably Wendy. She's funny about people talking.
There you are.
Yeah. Took off my mask. I am in my office with my door shut, so.
We figured you didn't want to catch a computer.
You never know. There's lots out there right now.
Jim, it is great to see you. I know Carolina East is incredibly busy at this time, so we thank you for carving some time out of your day today for New Bern Now.
I'm glad to do it. Glad to do it.
Yeah.
Tell us about how things are going at Carolina East.
They're going well. We're busy. We're busy with normal census as well as with our patients that have COVID. We are actually down this week from where we were a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think we hit our highest number of COVID positive patients in the hospital about 2 weeks ago. We've come down a little bit from there. So we're better than we were, but we're still busy.
I saw a piece that I think the Sun Journal did on one of the respiratory therapists at Carolina East, and it was such a great piece because it was a video on the Sun Journal Facebook page, and it was kind of like a day in the life. And you really got a good picture of part of the team that is treating COVID patients right here in New Bern. And I just want to say kudos to you and your staff. I know they're probably tired at times and stressed as well. And so I hope they feel in some way the support of the community. Do you think they do?
Oh yes, I think they do. We've been blessed the whole time to have an outpouring of support from our community. I love the piece from the Sun Journal about the day in the life with respiratory because it shows all of the different team members that are taking care of these patients. It's from EMS to nursing to the physicians. It's a huge team providing this care, and the staff are doing very well. I mean, they are getting tired. This is like, with a hurricane, you prepare, you go through it, and it's going to end. This is continues. So we're hitting 7 months, and our staff put a ton into their patient care, not just their clinical expertise, but their compassion. And that's the part that starts to wear as it continues, but they are doing very well. We're doing some things here at the hospital to help support them. They substitute themselves for family members that aren't able to be with some of these patients. So I got an email yesterday from one of our community members talking about one of our nurses being right there holding their mother's hand as she left and as she passed away. And they put themselves there in the place of family. And that's the part that gets hard. We can provide the care for a long time, but when you're constantly going through those emotional battles, it's wearing, but they're doing a great job. They're supporting each other. And then we're doing some things, offering some stress debriefings and different things to help give them a chance to talk about those feelings, and rotating staff around when they'll let us. They don't want to, they have a passion for what they're doing, and they don't want to, I don't want to break. I want to do it. This is what I'm here for. So, but they're doing a fabulous job.
And Brandy Pop has done an outstanding job of showing some of the reunions, the patients who recover and they see their families for the first time. And that's got to be a highlight for the staff taking care of the patients. That's got to be something to look forward to that just kind of warms you.
It is. We celebrate every single discharge. It's a wonderful thing. And many more of them are discharged and do go home well, getting better than not. So that is a good thing.
Yeah. And Jim, is there anything the community can do to help bring those hospitalizations down so you don't end up ever, getting maxed out, which I don't see that happening. You're an awesome facility. So I pray we'll never get maxed out. If we do, it would be very unusual, because we're prepared to handle far more than we've had to handle. So the best thing that everyone can do is make sure they are maintaining their distance from other people when they're out in public, keeping that social distance, wearing a mask. I mean, we've seen many different ways of transmission, and it's within families. Sometimes it's within those people that you work with, that you trust, and we're not all, we're all well. You don't always know. And so it's sometimes that person you're eating lunch with that you actually get exposed to. So it's wearing a mask, it's staying home if you're sick. That's one big thing is, very few of us are people who would actually stay home if we didn't feel good. We still keep going. We're a culture of go, go, go. So actually taking a break and staying home if you're not feeling well, and making sure that you're not getting sick. Social distancing, mask, good hand washing, hand sanitizer. Lord, we should be supporting the world of alcohol and all out there, because all of the hand sanitizer we all use every day now.
Jim, can we talk for a second about if someone tests positive, what the recommendations are? I had this happen with some friends just this week, and what I understand the CDC to be saying is, if you were within 48 hours of first symptoms or the test collection, whichever was earlier, if you were with someone for 15 minutes or more during a 24-hour period, it doesn't have to be 15 minutes at the same time. It could be 5 minutes, 5 minutes, 5 minutes within a 24-hour period, and that you were within 6 feet of that person, whether or not you were wearing a mask, then you should get tested and quarantine yourself until you get the results. Is that correct?
Mostly correct. And they change it often. I mean,
they do.
The 15 minutes within a 24-hour period is new, that, it was 15 continuous minutes. That is mostly correct. You don't always want to test right away, though. You want to wait a couple of days. And I don't have the actual guidelines in front of me. Our employee health nurse goes through this discussion with every single employee that has been exposed to a coach, a family member, whatever. And you also have to look at how much time you spent with that person, and then how the exposure to someone who was exposed but haven't tested positive. There's so many questions, but yes, that is the current guidelines.
Okay.
And if you are feeling ill, what should be your first step? I've heard people say, I called my family physician, but there are people who don't really have a family physician. You know, when they go to the doctor, it's going to urgent care every time they need service. So if I feel like I'm symptomatic, what is the first thing to do?
You know, I don't think every person that has symptoms has to go to the doctor. I think if you have a private care physician, then by all means, give them a call and see how you do. Many people are not experiencing any symptoms. They're experiencing very few, very mild. A lot of the cases, most of the cases that we've seen have been very mild. We've discharged more people from the ED that were positive that had mild symptoms than we had to admit. So, you know, if you don't have a healthcare provider, by all means, there's the emergency department is available 24/7, welcome anyone all the time. However, you know, it really is based on how sick you get. Just because you have some symptoms doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go to the doctor. You can definitely wait it out and see how you're doing at home. And if you get sick, or if you get short of breath, if you start running a high fever, and you know, people are having a lot of fatigue from it. Fatigue is okay. It's how much all those other symptoms are affecting you.
And Brandy has just given you a shout out on our New Bern Now Facebook page. She says, Jim Davis is the best. Thanks for all you do for Carolina East.
I'm blessed to be here in this position right now with the absolutely phenomenal staff that we have. They amaze me every day. I mean, can't say enough.
I know Wendy already asked you, but is there anything as a community that we can do to help, to support, to anything?
I cannot think of anything. If you know someone that works at the hospital or that works in healthcare, thank them. I mean, they're doing a fabulous job there. They put themselves at risk every day, and that's what they signed up for. That's what they love. And it's hard, but it's great work, and thank them. And I mean, you guys have done, the community has been incredible since day one. I mean, we've had constant outpouring of all kinds of support.
Well, we are so fortunate to have the hospital here and such a top-notch facility to all the people like you that work there and make it work. So thank you very much.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thank you very much. And let us know how we can help if something comes up.
Okay,
So
I'll do it.
we
Thank you.
really appreciate your time.
Ellen,
Share
thank
our
you.
thoughts with the staff too.
Yes.
I will do
Thank
it.
you, Jim.
Thank you.
Sure.
You guys have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right.
That was so nice of him to carve some time out of his day for us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
We are so lucky to have Carolina East, you know, right here. Man. But I do want to say I started a little project that I used an old coat hanger and bent it in the shape of a heart and put blue lights around it, like the LED blue Christmas lights. And you can hang them up in your, you know, your front yard or in your storefront, just so the people that have had, you come off a rough shift or they're getting ready to go to work, you know, I'm sure their spirits are not, I mean, we're all, you know, kind of brought down by just this COVID lingering, but being in the middle of all of that, the anxiety, I just cannot imagine. So maybe you can hang a heart for the healthcare heroes.
That is a very good idea, Wendy.
Yeah, it only cost $2.50 for the string of lights, you know.
Easy peasy.
Yeah, and I'm not an artist, but I do want to give a shout out to our dear friend Lisa Bisbee Lentz. Let's see, here we go.
Yay!
Yeah, she did the steeple and the bear.
And the bear?
She's one of my favorite artists. And,
We love us some Lisa around here. She's so talented. I really love the church steeple. Why don't we mention your trivia question again? People have a little bit more time to think about it and post an answer.
Okay, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II?
Do, 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 do.
And it, I think there was a lot more than those documents. I like probably the Gettysburg Address and some major important documents. And yeah, so and I do want this is just not to bring anyone down, but I'm ringing a bell every Friday around 2:02 after the big church bells ring, in remembrance of the COVID patients who lost their lives to COVID every Friday. And if you have a loved one that you lost and you want their name to be recognized, them to be recognized by identity, give me a call at 259-6853 or send me an email at info@newbernnow.com. And we're very sorry for your loss. So that's all I have to say about that.
You still doing that downtown though, Wendy?
Yeah, every Friday. So
Do you change locations or are you in the same spot?
I'm right at the corner of Pollock and Middle next to Christ Church. So yeah.
Fantastic. It's also a big time right now for early voting. So election day not far off at all. In fact, early voting ends October 31st. So if you want to beat the rush, which I don't know if I should say that because some of the lines have been pretty busy around here, which is good. People are getting out to vote. But get out before election day to one of these early voting sites in Craven County. The Board of Elections right down here on Craven Street. The Cove City Fire Department is also a voting location at 425 South Main Street in Cove City. The Vanceboro Fire Department, which is at 375 Highway 43. In Havelock, you can go to New Beginnings Ministry of Faith. Their address is 30 Park Lane in Havelock. And then back here in New Bern, you can go to Bern Square at 2684 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. So get your early voting done before October 31st, and election day is next week.
Yeah, get it over with.
I think you can also still mail in your ballot. I saw a couple of news stories yesterday that said in North Carolina, I think you have until, I want to say 9 days after November 3rd, if you postmark.
Yeah, it's something like that. Yeah.
So just don't be discouraged. I know a lot of people that I was talking to earlier in the week were worried that they hadn't had time to send in their absentee ballot, but obviously we want to encourage everybody to vote. And so if that is the way that you need to vote, just send it in. And just get it in before the 3rd, certainly, but as soon as you can, right? Yeah, anybody that that needs that information, just encourage them to vote. Everybody needs to vote.
There's also curbside, if you are handicapped or, ill, or you can certainly go curbside. And I've never seen that area busy. So if you need those accommodations, they're certainly there. And there have been some long lines, but we have a buddy who kind of texted us and said, my husband just went and voted and there was nobody in line downtown. So we skipped right on over there and did our early voting. So there are certainly some slow times. Shout out to the Board of Elections employees who are working hard this time of year. They were just great with the pens and with keeping everything sanitized in between folks filling out ballots, the folks making sure that you stayed socially distanced while you were in line, and handing out masks if somebody didn't have one. So shout out to all those temporary workers and the Board of Elections staff who are helping to make sure we can all vote safely this year.
Yeah, I can't imagine that job. From our healthcare heroes to our election officials, they're doing a wonderful job. So
yes, outstanding.
Yeah.
So, and speaking of COVID, the governor did another press conference not long ago and announced that we will stay in phase 3 for another 3 weeks. there's still some concern over the COVID cases in North Carolina and in our area, certainly. So I forget what that date is.
That was October 21st, he said that. So that's probably for the next 2 weeks.
So when he said it and
Right.
said 3 weeks, I have it now. It's now November 13th. So I suppose a couple
okay.
weeks before that, he'll be talking about where we go from there. So that's where we stand.
Yeah, and he also talked about the North Carolina Housing Opportunities and Prevention of Evictions, which is the HOPE program. And it provides assistance to eligible low and moderate income renters experiencing financial hardship due to the pandemic by making direct payments to landlord and utility companies. So you can apply by calling 211 or going to nc211.org/hope. So that's a relief, I'm sure, for people that are in need of assistance. So yeah, that NC211 is an awesome hotline. I mean, there's so much information. So if you have any questions about COVID or a lot of different things, try giving them a call. So
Absolutely.
I'd like to put out a note about Very Merry Christmas. They're looking for corporate sponsorships to make sure they can do that this year. And it may look a little different from how it was in the past, but they've really got a lot of momentum with that program, and I'd love to see it pull off again this year. So if you are able to help, interested in helping, I know Taylor Shannon is one of the people involved with that. So reach out to Taylor and let her know what you can do to help. Certainly as a sponsor, they really need that right now. They're putting it together to make sure it can go off this year.
And if you don't know Taylor or can't reach out to them on Facebook at Very Merry Christmas, they are a committee of the New Bern Chamber. So 637-3111, they can get you in touch with the Very Merry folks and get you all signed up to do one of those sponsorships. But that'll be another fun way to celebrate the holidays safely and see something remain on the calendar. You know, I feel like cancellations are more the more familiar thing nowadays, and it just makes me happy to see that, you know, some things are still able to happen and how they may have changed, but we can still have some holiday spirit, right?
yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's see.
I'm thinking about that. How will kids go see Santa this year? Are they still going to sit on his lap?
They are
I guess he'll be
modified.
wearing a mask over his beard.
Let me tell you, they are modifying the Santa house in Bear Plaza.
Is it a virtual?
It's not virtual, George. You can go sit on his lap if you want. Well, you can't. So you can go visit Santa if you want.
You would break his lap.
He
No,
would
I don't
break
mean,
his
I don't mean.
So they are modifying the Santa house this year. First of all, it was a single doorway. You walked in and there was Santa sitting in the chair. And so they've made it into a double doorway entrance. There will be plexiglass in front of Santa. And then they're also brainstorming like a little bench. So the kids could sit on the bench and see Santa through the plexiglass and talk to him and tell him what they want for Christmas.
Is it a bench made to look like a lap, and then Santa's on the other side of the plexiglass, and it looks like he's standing there, but it's a
I'm going to
bench,
tell
a
them
lap bench?
I'm going to tell them that's your creative idea, George. Make it look like a lap.
I can design this virtually. Virtually, I can design. Yeah.
So there's still a way to tell Santa what you want. He's going to ask you if you've been naughty or nice, but that's up to you.
Yeah, so look out, George.
Maybe some kids will start using the mail and write to him. I don't know. It'll be.
And there's always
interesting.
a mailbox down in Bear Plaza where you can write to Santa, and those letters are answered. He and Mrs. Claus are very busy this time of year, and their hands get cramped up.
Yes.
All that writing all the children back. But yes, they will still be able to sit on Santa's lap. And, you know, barring the governor's restrictions, we may also have a Christmas parade. The Board of Aldermen will consider those street closures coming up. And that will be, again, we want to go ahead and approve the street closure in the event that if the state opens up those restrictions, we won't have to call an emergency meeting to get before the Board of Aldermen for a street closure for a parade. So we're going to, you know, provided those guidelines allow for parades, we're going to go ahead and approve those street closures. But I'm kind of looking forward to that. A Christmas parade. I hope it's chilly and whew.
Yeah. Right.
And are they having the preschool parade? When is that?
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because when we were talking about how everybody's doing and everything that's going on, and I thought, oh my gosh, I have 3 or 4 things here to talk about and I never brought them up. So George is going to have some Mexican food, I think.
No.
Or are you getting out your preschool parade outfit?
I think he's got to put a mask on or something.
The Parks and Recreation Halloween. Oh, yeah. It is going on tomorrow at 9:30. George, you froze up.
Please.
You froze up. There you are.
You're scaring me.
There you go. You remember?
Yes, we did that last Halloween. Wait a second. Here we
All
go.
together, and we were able to. Yes.
Are you like Queen Elizabeth or something, or?
I am Queen Elizabeth.
I'm drinking out of my dad mug. The
We're
Halloween.
just gonna leave this like act like everything's normal. So when someone just turns it on, they were like, "What in the world?
What is
Yes.
that?
Who is that? There's a stranger on the New Bern Now Podsquad. The preschool parade is going on tomorrow, weather permitting, at 9:30. Gather at the intersection of Middle and Broad Street, and we will safely social distance and parade down Middle Street and make a left on Front Street and go into Union Point Park. And there will be goodie bags for the kids. So that's going to be exciting.
Right outside our office, so we usually open the windows and put like this on and wave to them.
Don't scare those kids, George.
And because we have storms forecast, if it is rained out, then it will be at the same time on Monday. So on Monday morning at 9:30, just meet at the corner of Middle and Broad Street, and we'll do it then. So
Okay, so as far as the dates, if somebody's listening to this on the radio, they may think it's like next Monday when this airs on Wednesday. So
yes,
Can
so
you-
that's November 1st,
okay,
right? Is the date. Let's see, Monday
no,
would be
that's the
second.
second, yeah.
Yes. Monday, November 2nd would be the rain out date, if tomorrow is a little stormy. Also, I don't know if you guys saw in terms of city business going on. Thanks for reminding me about that parade, Wendy. Hopefully you saw that our old city garage dating back to 1973, now that is old,
That is so cool. Yeah.
has been completely renovated and is ready for reuse by Craven Community College. We're partnering with them again. They're going to turn this into a diesel and heavy equipment workforce training center. So it was, you got to celebrate when you have a city project, you're in the midst of COVID, and you've completed the project completely ahead of schedule. And most of it was done by city staff. It feels good. Everybody's all in, and, we all aligned our schedules to get everything done. And it's a beautiful facility. I talked to Gary Boucher from Craven Community College a couple days ago. They're going to start moving in some equipment. And in several weeks, probably have another open house where you can actually see students working on some of the heavy equipment during their open house. So
That's fantastic. Yeah.
yes, this is an expansion of the Volt Center, which is on First Street, if you haven't seen that, and just a really valuable partnership in a really great area. We're also working on a sidewalk project, so the Volt Center will be even more accessible going forward. So definitely another city success. And one of the things I have to mention is actually a secret. Do you think you can keep a secret?
George?
The Queen, sorry, can you keep a secret? So right before the podcast, I heard that Parks and Rec has received their reaccreditation. So once again, they have been nationally accredited, which
Awesome.
is a very challenging title accomplishment to get. So they're going to be putting out a press release about that, but I'm so proud of them. They have to meet national standards in several categories. So
Let's give them a round of applause.
Excellent.
Foster Hughes and your team.
Foster Hughes and his staff, they are just tearing it up, doing a
We
great
went
job.
to see another drive-in on Saturday. We saw Beetlejuice, and so much fun. It's a great thing to do. They need to keep doing it even after COVID, man. It's a lot of fun.
So this Friday is Haunted Mansion. It's actually the last one of the season, but Foster mentioned at the Board of Aldermen meeting earlier this week that they are going to do several more movies at holiday time. So we'll stop every Friday, for now. It's getting a little cooler outside.
Right.
But as the holidays come near, we will show some Christmas movies and other fun stuff. So that was certainly a great announcement. We'll look forward to those. And they'll be on our website where you can register for tickets. And then the last thing I have is we've been working on it for quite some time, but we finally received our certificate of authorization from the FAA for our drone program. So now we are federally blessed to be able to not only fly the drone, but be able to support our comrades during mutual aid situations. It's certificate of authorization is a COA for short. And so we have received our COA. We will be able to fly. A COA enables you to get up in the sky in the event of an emergency or a disaster. So certain steps.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Yay. You worked
We,
hard.
in researching applying for a COA, we learned that many cities and towns hire consultants to complete their COA paperwork and communicate with the FAA and get all the details in order. And we are super, super proud that we were able to do it in-house with a collaboration of several of our pilots, just getting around a table at different times and spelling out exactly how and when we plan to fly, and the technology we have, how we plan to equip our drone for, say, flying at night, things like that, anti-collision technology. So I'm really proud that no consultant, just PIO, a firefighter, and a police officer.
That's wonderful.
Cranking it out.
And you've been working on having the drone training since, at least 3 years, 2-3 years, right?
About 3 years ago, we sent 8 pilots to school. 5 of us passed the federal test. You have to recertify every 2 years. So we just had our first round of recertifications. And we also had to, it's kind of like you're building this plane while you're flying it. We also had to put a policy in place for the city as to, the permissible situations and things in which we can fly it. So we put together a city policy, which was the first step, getting together with all the departments and the different needs they may have with a drone, such as roof inspections after a hurricane. We will be able to do our own FEMA inspections of buildings after disasters.
Wow.
Which will hopefully speed up the reimbursement process. And so we put that policy together. It was adopted by the city, I don't know, probably about a month ago or so. And that allowed us to then take the next step, which was the federal certificate of authorization. They like to see that you have a policy in order. And so, baby steps, but we're getting there. And it's been really fun to train with that drone.
And speaking of baby steps, you would find the baby with the drone. Now, does this drone have infrared? So say it's at night and no.
It does not, and I'm probably letting another secret out of the bag, but the New Bern Police Department is in the process of receiving a grant specifically for purchasing a drone and its equipment package. And it will be a lot higher tech than the one we have now. So it will be equipped with infrared. It will be able to carry load if ever we get to a situation where we're delivering aid. So it will come with many, many bells and whistles, and apps and things that will make it easier to fly. Grid patterns and being able to assist emergency responders with things like searches. But we have been able to take, like you were talking about, we have been able to take our current drone up, in daylight hours, and the fire department has a little baby doll that they use for child safety seat checks to show parents how to buckle in their kids. And so they would bring the baby doll out to our trainings, and before we all got there, they would go and hide it somewhere. And that was one of our exercises. Okay, get the drone up. Let's say we have a child who's wandered off from their parents, go find them. And it's very easy when a baby or child is wearing fluorescent clothing, but how often do we dress them in fluorescent clothing? It was really hard, especially when you get over a canopy of trees. You can't see down to the ground. But it's been a great learning tool and a great asset to have going forward. But the Queen is probably sitting there like, what is a drone?
Your world frightens and confuses me, but I've found it best just to sit here and remain stoic.
Stoic. AKA unhappy, looking down at the rest of us.
Yeah.
Oh,
The Queen has lost her mask.
oh no!
Queen's secret is out of the bag.
Me the whole time.
George, I really like your small town news.
Small town
podcast.
news?
Small town news.
Oh,
It's fun. So
I
if
appreciate
y'all are watching, check it out. Small Town News Podcast.
I appreciate that. We have a lot of fun doing that, and it's
Yeah.
a good excuse to get together with three of my favorite guys and just be silly. That's cool. Thank you.
Yes. And I do want to mention, I was listening to the City Board of Aldermen meeting that you always, you're in charge of videoing it, right, Colleen? Yeah, so that's a lot of work besides your regular job. So, but I heard Alderwoman Harris and Best, along with the Health Department, are holding an event on Halloween from 10 to noon at the park on Broad, distributing over 3,000 masks, 2,000 gloves, 2,000 hand sanitizers, and candy. So, and there'll be COVID educational material. So I think that's a wonderful thing that they're doing for the community. And I just want to put that out there in case you want to attend. So.
And it's right there at the corner of Queen and Broad behind Master Cuts is where they will be set up. So please pay them a visit on Halloween.
All right.
And it's after 2:00. We should probably answer the trivia question. And
okay, anyone out there watching have an answer? Okay, the question is, where were the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights stored during World War II? I don't see any answers.
We should guess, Colleen. What's your guess?
Christchurch.
Nope.
I think I stole George's answer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say in the basement of the Greater Good Gallery. How you like them apples?
Oh, there you go.
What is a top secret place?
In the base of the.
What's that?
What'd you say?
It's in the base of the Lincoln. In the base. Am I losing my? Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Every once in a while you go
working?
out. In the basement.
Oh. in the base of the Lincoln Memorial statue. I think I saw that on the Nicolas Cage movie. What was it? The one where he was trying to find those documents.
Yeah.
National Treasure.
Yes, National Treasure.
Yeah. Well, they're normally stored in the National Archives, but during World War II, they were stored at Fort Knox. Oh. And Laura has a question. I'm sorry, what? I know.
Did anybody get it?
No.
Nope. But Laura has a question for Colleen.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
What is she cooking?
Colleen,
Ma'am.
hey, when on a recipe, I've never seen this before. When it says, say 2, and then it has a little T, period, and then the ingredient. Is the T for teaspoon or tablespoon?
Teaspoon is the little t. The capital T is tablespoon.
All righty.
What is she making? What are you making?
Look at that. It's the oven 1 bowl apple cake.
Nice. So are you going to like drop off some for the rest of us?
What? You're breaking up. What? Maybe.
That should have been the trivia question. I should have had
the T or the little t. What do they mean?
Yeah. All right.
So
And
I don't see anybody who got the answer. Lisa Bisbee says, I love Bob Ross. Yeah, me too.
Lisa. That's what she looked like when she was drawing this in plein air outside at the Baxter Gallery. That was
Yes, she did.
And let's see, we have a joke. One joke.
Oh yeah, what's the joke of the day?
What kind of horses only come out after dark?
I know.
Bring it on.
What kind of horses?
Only come out after dark.
Nightmares.
Yay!
Oh, yay!
Good job, George.
That's a good one, Laura. Good.
George is on top of it today.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see. Uh-oh, is the queen coming back? The queen apparently likes Mexican food.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you would like to be a guest on the Pod Squad, or if you have any questions or maybe even some suggestions for our show, you can call 252-259-6853, which will get you directly to Wendy Card, or you can send us an email at info@newbernnow.com. Make sure you join us next week on November 5th from 1 to 2 p.m. We'll be on Zoom again for the New Bern Now Facebook page for the podcast. The video and audio will be uploaded to newbernnow.com, and you can also find it anywhere that you download podcasts, such as YouTube, iTunes, many of the other apps and places you find them. You can also listen to the show on New Bern's news talk radio station, WNOS 103.9 FM, by tuning in every Wednesday. They are so kind to play our show at 8 o'clock in the morning and 5 p.m. at night.
Yeah. And is that a wrap?
Is it?
Folks.
That's a wrap, folks. Okay.
Thanks for listening, everybody, and have a good day. Cue the music.
Woo! Woohoo! Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
See you later, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.